Hello, my dear ones. Here's Mira Michelle, and you are with me in part 3 of the 5-part free series, The Great Awakening. And this part 3 today is the personal process, the personal persons, and the Great Awakening. That's what we're going to dive into today, and I'm so excited to be here with you. So I ask you to put your hand on your heart, give it a little tap. Ooh, blessings. Just a light tap and communicate gratitude. And then we place our next hand on our heart, 2 hands on the heart, dear ones. We start a little rhythm. We're waking up our hearts. And next, I ask you to put some sound in there. Ooh, and in 3, 2, 1, we're gonna stop. 3, 2, 1. Big deep breath in. Slowly exhale. We're waking up our hearts. We're waking up our hearts. Wow. On this planet. We're calling in this moment. We're calling in our lifetimes of experience. We're calling in those wise ancestors and looking back to the wise ones that walk softly on the earth, and we're deeply connected to the earth. And we're looking forward to those future ancestors that shall do the same. And we're bringing that energy close to us, and we're saying thank you to the earth, thank you to the trees, thank you to the waters, to the mountains, to all of the terrains and landscapes, and to the deep core vibration of our planet, the primal, and to the primal in ourselves. And so this weave, on the eve of the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction in Pisces tomorrow, is giving us a massive opportunity to bring in light and the consciousness within that light. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your consciousness. Ahe, Ashe, blessed be. So the personal. Let's get personal. Let's get personal. So, as you may know now, if you've watched the intro weave and the collective, now it's the personal, then we go on to the children, very important. And then number 5 is the Great Awakening itself. So we're going to put all of that into that last part. Now we're here in the personal. And this is a particular favorite of mine, as I am a healer. That's what I was trying to say with my sentence before. And I went around and came back, yes, I am a healer. And how do I frame that? I often ask myself, maybe I would put consciousness cup holder, quantum shamanic healer, energy psychology, working with human beings to get the broader perspective. Sometimes I like to say to open their holograms. This is indeed what I do. I just open that up and have a look. And in the resonance of intelligence in that moment, the dear one sitting there with me will also begin to sense and feel and introspect. And then we dive more deeply. And I feel that is indeed the Great Awakening within the person, is when they dive inside to find out about who I am. Who am I really? Am I my conditioning, my identifications, my programs, my patterns? Am I that? Or am I something much more expansive? Oftentimes I say to my students, hello, higher selves, how are you doing with your humans? How's that human treating you today? And indeed, that is relevant. That is relevant. So, in connecting with this vibration of the Great Awakening, I would say, number 1, we are multi-sensory beings. What does that mean? We are beings that sense in a multi-dimensional way. First, here, living on this planet, living in duality, we have light and dark, day and night. We have fire, we have ice, we have air, we have earth, and we have water. That's it, all of those. And then we have the ether and the ethereal. We can sense those. Many times we do that in our dreams. And then we are dimensional beings. We actually skip dimensions quite easily. Even though many ways we've been trained out of that skill. But we do have it as part of our hardware. Whether or not it's part of our software is a different story. So we're multisensory beings of light. We are intuitive beings. We're deeply intuitive if we're able to stay connected to that intuition. Right? And our intuition is an amazing guidance system. So how is that part of the Great Awakening? Multisensory, intuitive, and we are beings that are greatly rewarded when we are able to embody meaning and purpose. It is like food and water to us. We need to have meaning in our lives and purpose. That is a big part of our medicine. Very important part of our medicine. So multisensory, intuitive, meaning, purpose, presence is the next one that I see when I work. when we step into our presence, the opening begins. When we can seat ourselves in presence, the opening expands. And then we begin to sense and feel the magic in our world. And as I'm putting my hands out here, I'm going, yes, it's nature. We are beings. We are sacred animals. Mammals with consciousness that are deeply and intrinsically connected to nature. That is one of our very important medicines also. Nature is a massive healer for us. And so when we sit in presence in nature, that's like exponential, exponential, can I say that word right now? Growth. And the growth happens in that precise moment. Oh yes, we are all of these wonderful attributes we humans are. And right now on this planet, we are being asked and kicked and dragged and inspired to all of those things to transform. And this transformation is about what we value within ourselves, and to really value self, to feel self, is in itself a great awakening. So when we imagine 7 billion people going through that process, and we're all at this time being through the circumstances that we are experiencing in real time at the same time, very similar, right? We are being almost pushed, and sometimes feeling greatly pushed, into claiming our inner authority. And that's healing. That is healing us. And healing and expansion go together. Right? So we either choose intentionally, I'm going to expand. And through that expansion, you'll reach places, which I call knots, energy knots, and we'll come back to that. And as we move through them, we heal because we feel. And the opposite, we might say, I'm going for my healing on this particular subject, pattern, situation, whatever you got there. And through that healing, we'll go through the knot, the energy knot, into expansion. Wow, I don't speak like that anymore. I don't even have those similar thought patterns. I'm relieving myself of my victim consciousness, or I'm relieving myself of my arrogance. I'm becoming more comfortable and more knowing of what's really valuable to me. This is all part of the transformation that we are being pushed or prodded or lovingly inspired, depending upon our situation that we have in our life, to move into. Why is this important now? Now is the time. You see, we humans, we're working with light and dark constantly. A dark thought, a light thought. A light thought, a dark thought, or action, or response. What does dark mean to us humans? Well, the unknown. I can't predict it. I'm not in control. I feel helpless. I'm going to recoil. I'm going to go hide underneath my covers. Yeah, we all have that. Every single human being has that. So the Great Awakening on our planet is asking us to awaken to our wonderful nature to our multi-sensory beingness, to our intuition, to our meaning, our deep meaning and purpose, and to nature medicine. It's almost like we're coming back full circle after a long journey. You see? And, oh, what a journey it is. What a journey it is, dear ones. As we go on this journey, we need to remember a few things. To be kind to self, heart kind, heart intelligence, and heart kind and heart intelligence to others, with clarity and borders, and sometimes fierceness in a way of responsibility and integrity. We're experiencing many horrors on our planet at the moment. And it is my feeling when I look into other humans, bodies, minds, spirits, and souls, I can see and sense the awakening, what is happening within, and the desire to be free. Freedom may come in some parts from outside of us, right? I have the freedom to do this, I have the freedom to that, I have the freedom to create that, so on and so forth. But the deep freedom, the true freedom, the freedom that will not be changed, comes from in here. And so in a way, we are being pushed to really deeply value our freedom. And this is the freedom that's coming. And that has already arrived in many ways because we're waking up to what that is. Thank you so much for your consciousness, for your transformation. And here's another thing. We all have a certain level of responsibility to this planet, to ourselves, to our community, to awaken. Not in a dogmatic way, in a way that comes from here of caring, of conscientiousness. You feel me? So sharing consciousness, we are transporters of consciousness within ourselves and with all the other dear ones around us. Yeah. And I feel that we are on the way in a powerful way. And we have more work to be done. More consciousness to bring to this planet for the awakening that we move into systems, structures, understandings, and vibration first. That will heal ourselves and our earth and create the new earth without systems of control. Because, if the inner work is not done, then the outer work will push us to do the inner work. And that's what we're presently experiencing. So it's up to us what new earth we will create. And we will create this from our hearts, from our balance, and from our fun and our joy. So that's the personal. And I look forward when the online course starts that I will be offering after this free series called Liberation Tools for the Great Awakening, to share with you the 4 pillars and the staff. The 4 pillars and the staff, the sacred staff. Because it really is about the vibration of the sacred, like when we're in ceremony. That we feel and sense our connectedness to everything, and everyone through the vibration, the resonance of the sacred resonance. The birds are singing to us. Yeah. So let's continue to sing and vibrate and call in the sacred for this great awakening. Thank you so much for your presence here with me. Thank you for sharing consciousness. If this video resonates to you, then thank you for sharing that with dear ones and loved ones, that we may all awaken together and take the ultimate responsibility. Ourselves. Ourselves. Oh yes, and I did mention that I was going to talk about energy knots. I will cover that more in the Liberation Tools for the Great Awakening. However, I will say that we all have them. These little energy knots that sit in our system, right? And what happens is the energy flow. We have these energy currents. We're also electricity, right, that runs through us in our meridians and the acupressure and puncture points, which are on the meridians, right, the chakra system. And when there is a knot, an energy knot, and the energy's flowing, it has a hard time flowing through it, because the energy then has to slow down to get through this more dense energy that is compiled there. And so it sometimes has to take a detour and go around it. So that part that can begin to manifest into flesh, that part is not being fueled with new energy or electricity or frequency, right? And so those energy knots come from being misaligned to our truth, come from trauma, come from a lack of loving presence, therefore our sensitivity has been suppressed, and also come from fear. So transmuting fear right now on our planet is a really good idea. There's so much fear is being pumped out there. And our bodies just simply don't resonate with that frequency. So what do? We go in and we collect the knots, energy knots, one by one, and shift them. Shift the consciousness, shift your focus, and open them, and then more energy flows through the system. The body gets more healthy, the mind gets more healthy. And we enjoy life more, life flows more. Oh, this is the personal. So let's take our personal processes personal and lean into the great awakening that we are in presently. Thank you again. Blessed be. Mira Michelle.